Walk the talk. Last time I was here, 2015, July either 3rd or 4th. I distinctly recall it because, 4th of July, and then the clouds appeared like the next day, and for almost a full month, every day, it was like Mario Brothers, clouds and puffy, and not rain, but because you notice how energy's drawn out, and how like energy's not lost, and so that water has to be pulled up, and it's pulled up through magnetism, something. Anyway, the last time I was up here, I attempted going up this road, an old road, you can barely make it out, and I chickened out, but I ended up going all around through there, and my mind was so lost, like the natural gas I had been breathing, that I was just terrified to come up here. I heard what I thought was rattlesnakes, but I'm guessing it was like crickets, chipmunks, what are those things called? Grasshoppers. But that's how lost I was. My health was just, and another way of looking at it, I run like every other day. I was doing this in Montana below zero. Running every other day. And as soon as I moved into that house, from the day one, I stopped running. I even attempted to run and forced myself to run. And I kind of hit like a personal best where I sobered up, like I wasn't smoking a lot of weed. And I hit this weird little peak of like, cause like I'd run like a 9-minute mile pace. Even though one time I ran 9 miles, that was one of the most insane things I did, because it was a full loop, and it was during the storm was rolling in, and the wind was with me one way, and then the wind was against me one other. When you're out like 9 miles, that last 5 miles froze my Jimmy. I should have warmed up and stretched up afterwards. I jumped in the shower right away, and oh my goodness. So anyways, the natural gas was so bad, and other things, like that's why I'm here again with this lady that I befriended, because she has this she had organic food, a grocery store basically, and the nearest one is just miles and miles away. And even the grocery stores here, they're real criminal, they're real Nazi, they're real finicky. What do you call Kellogg's and the basic Acme General Foods, and it's just but that's not, you can get around it. Just eat spinach and mushrooms, onions and garlic, and you can be as healthy as but you don't have a lot of freedoms if that's your choice, and so this peculiar environment here in Sanpete County, because now I'm here 2.0, and now I'm here where I'm not even scared. So I'm seeing how bad I was, how schizophrenic, where I was believing and seeing, and it was awful, because here I am 8-10 years later, and I'm getting it back. The regularity is the main one, because that creates a whole lot of they got commercials about it and shit. It creates insecurities, and so I've been carrying that insecurity for years and years and years on top of other ones, and hit my when you spiral down and hit rock bottom. And one of the things that got me rock bottom was coffee. None of that other stuff. I've spilled probably like 5 gallons of coffee, running around. That's why I had to get rid of the dog. I was just breathing in mold and mildew, and then the dog, and it was just, I miss it, because that's I need a companion. People are real advantageous. Everybody's predators. And I'm seeing it with the lady that I'm living with, and there's some deep stuff there, because her husband was like Woody Allen, and her daughter's no longer with us. But I met her daughter, and I only took kindly for like a day or two with her, and it was sketch because she was a drinker, and I don't like people who are drinkers, let alone like vodka. It's not like a mild thing. It's like, if you're a drinker, you gotta talk about what you're drinking for. All right, you can't fucking carry those kind of demons. That's some serious stuff. So the natural gas and the Nazis, these people, my neighbor was literally in a sight. I bought a house, and you know how you do the meet and greet and fruit cake and shit. The neighbor next to me had a moment of like talking to him. First, he tells me to cut down my tree that was growing just on my border, but on the border, and he had his garage on the border, and he's telling me to cut it down, and I obliged, but if knowing what I know, I would have been like, eat a deal, back off, like, what's your deal? And then I sold the house. Oh, that's cool, spiderweb. And the people who bought it, which they're selling it now, obviously, Pete, I sold it for $100,000, bought it for $95, and or I think I bought it for $90, sold it for $95 something, and they easily get it for $150. But anyway, so where am I going? Oh yeah, the new owners immediately cut down all the willow trees, and I swear to God, it had 7 willow trees, and one of them was like the size of the house, and it's just, I was just like, what is going on? Like that karma, the intention of my neighbors, and that's where you're hitting this astral realm. That's why I'm mentioning like where I'm here 2.0, and I seen things clear, and I got my britches about me. I'm a witch hunter, and I can tell people, I'm your motherfucking huckleberry. I'm your king. I'm your lord. I'm your savior. I've got magic out the wahoo. I collect that moonlight, that astral energy, and I put it to the test. No one keeps up. I'm Mega Man, Maga Chat or whatever they call that. So, and I ain't even fucking playing. Like, the only people listen already know, but they're more like haters than they are like, not that you are or aren't. You generally like are comforted with what I say, and I get it. Unless I'm out here getting my runner's high, I'm all PTSD. I'm all schizo. I'm saying things I probably shouldn't say. And I swear to God, like runner's high for me, it just turns me into like triple X, Mr. Can't get enough. Give me more, give me more, give me more. But yeah, so when I got the house, when I was living in there, that's the experience of like, you wouldn't want to wish harm upon your enemies. I don't know about that, but I'd never want to wish them what I experienced there, breathing in that natural gas on top of like this astral realm. Because what I'm telling you is like where you got Rosemary cult-like neighbors that have allegiances to the organized crime, because there's always going to be, I call it the OBESP, getting around the stimuli of what it is, censorship. You got the H and the M, and the blow, those things, because that's that's around, because they don't decriminalize marijuana. They're insane. They're delusional. They're psychotic. They're narcissistic. They're power hungry, fearful, losing the game of life. And then the Delta 9 is insane. I didn't know what it was. I was just like mocking them for what it, coming out before it is out. And here it is all over in Utah. And I ate it. I vaped it, and it's a no-go. Right when I heard it was synthetic, like I do, because I need it. Like you have no idea. Life has lost its flair. We've lost our freedom, so I can't go out and alleviate myself and go to the gym and alleviate myself, because you got bad actors everywhere. When I was up at the center of the universe, I'd go to the gym like every day, and the same people going there, and I don't just mean the same people. I had this one lady and this other one, but it really was weird with this one lady because we never talked. She was like a redhead and she was cute, but a little older than me. So I never obliged, said nothing. And now, like, this is where I'm spiraling down. Like, my hygiene's coming out and shit. So I'm not like, you know, some people don't warm up to that. And so, so I'm all like paranoid, like what's their game? What's their hustle? Why are they here every day? Like, because I'm always improving the world, not just my world, everybody's world, not just everybody's world. The evidence that everybody needs. Otherwise, when you die, you gnash your teeth. You create a villain. You try vindicating reason and rhyme against the madness, and you are really a villain. So you die alone because no one else wants a villain. No one sees the world over you. Even if you see the world like that, you can't organize around it. That's why God is this agape that shares. You can share your experiences, but you can't share your experiences if you don't have enough experiences. I left my water down here. Hopefully I didn't forget. Okay, so the natural gas, the astral realm, the neighbors, because it was really like shadow people in my house and stuff. Like I did ayahuasca, and it was like Saturn's cube where I couldn't. I was sitting on my couch. I'd think about doing something. The whole like paranoia. Oh, do something. And I'd stand up to do something. I forget what I was going to do, and I was doing that for like hours. Talk about hell. I call that Saturn's cube. But also, I was experiencing like people looking through the windows and stuff. But then there are other times I'd do it, like the residual, like I was seeing like rainbow, like magnetic ribbons in the skyline and stuff. Because you really have to open up to the beauty to see beauty. When I was first getting into it heavy, I was on the computer gaming, and I had this character called Cloud Gnome enter the game because it was like this bot that was automatically like tracking, like they were doxing, and this is before the League of Legends, so it could have been this thing that was tied to that because they crashed the servers. They were doxing people who were holding space basically, or you had to have people who had servers because no one could host because everybody's IPs were from other countries, and that was getting tethered. So you needed like these broadband or whatever fiber optic hosts. Because there's another thing, you had to refresh it, and so you had to have all these mods and things to make it work. And then you had to backdoor, even though you bought the game and you had a CD key, you still had to backdoor your way into the game. Sorry, my knees are jumpy, and this terrain this is cool right here. Very peculiar stuff. Very peculiar. Like the crust, that's what the mantle is. You see that at the riverbeds, at the Trinities, but it's more like clay. This is a little more like cement and pumice. So yeah, I was like that third eye experience of like having to confront my neighbors, because if you don't, like the astral, if you don't confront them one way or another, that's what the weight of the world is. It just weighs it down, and you have to address it, whether confrontation or like candlelight vigils and scripture, and that stuff is real. So I'm going through it again where I got to read my scriptures, and the lady that I'm with is like, her demon came out, like the inconsistencies were piling up. Like I tried bringing spirituality in it because like I got different angles other than religion and God, or because I got a case, I got evidence, and so if you don't accept that, it's like you're my enemy. Like, you too stupid to see what's in front of you. You have no respect for me for what I've done and accomplished and continue to do for you, your world, and neighbors, and the generations to come. Get the fuck out of here. And then because the inconsistency came, like we went on a road trip. We were going up Maple Canyon, and I brought up like God or something, and she did the laugh. They're possessed when they have to laugh to ignore the conversation. But previously, because like I'm a boring person. I talk about, that's what logos is. Like people don't want to be intellectually aroused with conversation. They're attention whores or whatever. They want the validation, like, oh, the blame and the complain game. And she's got that. And that's the problem with liberalism, because that's what they're really about, blaming and complaining and stuff. Which is getting attention away from, like, the moment and responsibility and duty, these things. As an adult, you can't be like unaware of the consequences of not girding your loins or just other things. Bringing the next generation in without fucking pushing them through the meat grinder and getting your 10 cents worth out of it all. And so, yeah, I'm seeing it 2.0 out here, because I ain't having none of it. And it's a serious thing, because it's not like they can get away with it without this OBE from the Elephant Man and the Boogeyman and the Lizard King. And then it's the inconsistency, like the whole freedoms and liberty, Moses effect. Like, you're not free if you haven't decriminalized marijuana, plain and simple. So that thing right there, the first time I ate the gummies, I had way too many. I had only ate 2 of them, but like each gummy had like 8 servings or something. So I took 16 servings or some crazy shit, which is, I'm a G. But the crazy thing was, I had the one like a few hours before I went to bed, and when I woke up, it was like the worst hangover ever. It wasn't like a headache. It was I had to get my feet under me. I had to catch my breath. It was bizarre. Like, I think it slowed my breathing down as well. Like my lymph system was closing in and I wasn't breathing well or whatever. But when I got up, it was like, it took me 5 minutes to get to. It was, and it almost made me panic. I was like, what is wrong with me? This is not right. Oh shit, wild horses. You know, want to be on their bad side. Always acknowledge That's the horse whisper. So I might get my ass stomped out here. Luckily, I can get into these aspens if it gets. Yeah, nice tone and just making sound in general. Hypnotize them, memorize them. Like singing hymns, church hymns will help too. Like you can control the cattle and the herd and stuff, and like brainwash them, keep them pacified. They were not there when I went up. Yeah, I can't even express how, because like the whole gang stalking and no privacy was happening from day one, and ever since, they've just been trying to, because you got the OBESP, people in the public space organizing and straight up junkies, thought I heard a thump next to me. Because they're like antagonists. Because when they're under the influence, they call them antennas, they are predatory. Like when I go to the headwaters and I set up and sell, the lurkers come in and they're hovering and they need to be stomped because they're really being psychic vampires. First of all, they put their stand up like they're out there making them buck, but they're really just, functional addicts. Meanwhile, I got my thing, and it's a legitimate thing, as well as really holding space, because when you really hold space, their antennas, their OBESP, it wants to consume you. It wants to destroy you. It wants to antagonize and harass you. And that's the name of the game. People aren't professional. They aren't the authority. You don't need to be the authority to exercise control. And that's the antagonistic way. Even the park employees were on the same side as the junkies. So both ends, I'm getting darts and arrows, doo-doo and urine. These people are ritualistically territorial, and they shouldn't be either one. And they keep them that way because they're grandfathered in. They know how that system works. They know the pimp and the escort get the free reign, turn the other cheek kind of the expression, but it's sacrilege, really. It's blasphemy, or was it heresy? They try and bring out, oh, this is what the gospel is about. That shit it is. That's why you have rules of the land. And that's why Christianity is the great, what do you call, because turning the other cheek is really about being a higher man on the totem pole, not turning to violence and stuff. And so yeah, they put blasphemy and heresy out there, all the while rebel against both government, God, and country. And that's why I was never, because like I had multiple reasons for the 10-foot pole, but it was never, it was more sorcery than it was romance. And so like the belly dancers and temptresses, it was like, nah, you ain't on my level. First I've got this, I'm on crusading with the abundance and harmony and the evidence of the seed of life, Star of David, and ain't no one fucking around unless you acknowledge that and respect that. Meanwhile, you got people who lie about that and organizing institutions, So I'm like, not just in my own league, the angels of whoever can't even flex on me. And that's like where Dave is, because he's on that level of angels. There are other angels. One of them told me that my guides, when I first got there, they found me, and then I was like, why'd you come out here? Because I'm like 3-4 miles off the beaten path, and so like no one was coming up there, and these girls come walking up, and I'm like, all right, what's up? And they're like, oh, let's watch the sunset, dude, and it taught me what it does, because oh yeah, this big deals, you watch the sunset with a group, and then you got to keep it small, because like alternative motives will taint it, and that's where you get the 401 missings and the boogeyman and the werewolf and the crusties and lurkers, where they just build an inconsistency of never accomplishing anything, and the only thing they were really doing is promoting this, whether in them or someone around them. And so they stay face, and they're like, no, you can't, get along, go along thing, and then vibe and hive, and no negativity. It's like, dude, you got any reality check? This ain't nothing about no negativity. This is some intervention in reality. Both them party of the the religions, the governments, and the tourism and the marketing. The January 6th, they pulled that out there. I'd pull it out there, but like I was saying, like when I got off of selling the house, I was on death's door. I was so gotta take my tinfoil hat off. Mega don't play. And no one, my family, they wouldn't give me any kind of they wouldn't listen. They want to hate on me. Like they'll never call me again. I might not ever call them, but they never call me. I came back to Utah, and they tried pulling the Inquisition. They were like sitting down with me and everything, and I won't take that tone with them, because they actually need, not necessarily legal, but I just got to get off my chest that, your firstborn's a molester. He brought in the dominatrix in that, and that's like where, oh, as for me and my house, no weed, but as for you and your house, you can procreate on the sadomasochistic ways. Like, come on. I can't even begin to get them to see what my life is. And for them to be part of my life, you can't even be part of that. So, for them to act like they're better than me with the conversation things, like, nah, you don't look at me, you don't talk to me, and that's the way it is. All the while, my father was like, why don't you just bite on their tongue? Bro, I've been biting my tongue all my motherfucking days. That's why I'm like autistic. Because I can't tell you nothing, because the minute I say something, he wants to get violent. And he's done it in the past. to protect the whole, because like you see it within the feminism, because then they get all manipulative, and then for him to keep in his worldview, the inconsistency is around that. He ain't working. He's shuffling his game in like a house of cards, and he ain't ever working. He never had any fucking fulfillment from sweating and pursuing his own dreams. And he's lying to himself where the family's his dream, or the temple and the church is his dream, and his stature among his community is his dreams. And that's the lie, because that's where the Trinity is. You have to work to fulfill that Trinity. It's the tombstone. And whether or not you lying, when you dead, that tombstone ain't going to do you no good if it's a blank check. I was coming together with these principalities because none of the life would make sense. And since I make more sense in all of it, it eventually would come together. Like ending the drought of California when I was 33 with the tango. Oh, this is what happens when you reserve or become celibate. And then there's more than just becoming celibate, because you can bring in, anyway. Because you don't want to bring in alternative motives and intentions. You want to be successful. You want to have mutual understanding, like purpose of life, like some common ground. If you don't have common ground when you romance, it's bad. It's bad. You stimulate it, and to create stimuli, that's what sadomasochism is at. It's all stimuli, and you have to go more and more and more. And these people want to be blinded, even though they may not be creating snuff films, but it's really just as harmful to be living a lie while stimulating something on false pretenses that it's a sacred bond covenant with God or whoever. It's bullshit. And so that's why I don't want to have conversations with them, because it's kind of, and then again, because when I came back, I was bottom, the worst I've ever been. My hygiene, the weed, and so that obviously they want to be straight up yo, you gotta clean up. And obviously I do, but it's yo, I can't clean up if I ain't gonna have access to shower. I can't clean up if I don't, if I'm on the side of the road and I gotta move from minute to minute, otherwise I get heated and terrorized and harassed. Because from the same day one at the NSA, they were gang stalking, doing everything both remotely and physically, because you get other people involved, and then you see how other people get tricked into being actors in your life, and they shouldn't even be in your life, but they're doing it because they want to be party to the neighbors and the community, and so they're playing this puppet master thing. I'd catch it. I see it right away. When someone's two-faced and you catch them talking to somebody else, and then you catch them up, and whether it's a hey, a hello, oh, that's dope. A hey or a hello, they get surprised, and because they're in that mode of gossip, which is one of the deadly sins, gossiping, and you catch them gossiping because they're trying to get their neighbors in colluding, And so I catch them, and even this lady, I caught her. She was talking to her neighbor, and that's why you get people who are willing to collude, because they don't have the real life. When you play that game, you can't give attention to the horizon and this purpose of life and the journey of life. You collude along the way. You become obedient. You play puppet games. I should be running, but my knees are blown. Oh my goodness, they're heavy. And my health is getting back finally. I've been doing parasite cleanses like a mofo, and it's been working. The only way I know it is because I just can get up and do things more and more. But it's some serious stuff, because that's like the crown of thorns. That's the problem with putting, it's like the short end of the stick. This is a whole nother topic, but people miss the meaning of Christ. Christ is this theater and word storytelling. And you can't tell a story if it ain't true. And you can't tell it if it doesn't lead to an agreement. And you can't agree upon something if it doesn't, resonate. And so the crown of thorns, a donkey, eye of the needle, 3 wise men, Da, 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 da. You know, you don't got a jack of all trades. You got, I don't want to call it divinity, but it's the short end of the stick, really. You know, because everybody, it feels like they're carrying the weight of the world, because every family, most families are sacrificing one child for the other. Because it's hazing, because they're not living a real life, because the resources aren't enough, because we don't have access to work, let alone the liberation of what work is and what constitutes, you know, our rights around providing. And this is my DNA. That's why organite is not the same for one person as another. And why it will never be any more than it is in me. And by my name, you can't do nothing much. I won't say nothing. But yeah, that's the whole danger, because you do something without the name or your own experiences and sacrifices and growth. You're creating if you don't have a relationship with the land, you're shortcutting it. I'll put it politically, mildly. But to have a relationship with the land, you got the Gnostic Hermetic history that will consume you. Going through the belly of the beast, visiting paradise, being tempted beyond measure. You can't do that. You can't. And if you do, not like that experience. Something affects me. Not like that experience is going to amount to that divine relationship. You got to revisit your organite and charge it under moonlight. And then when their sun is picking up and putting out, you got to be on your game and doing stuff. So if you're too busy to stay on that, you really can't be around organite. And a lot of people can't do that because they have other obligations, because they're fronting. And the complexity is far, because it doesn't include you. Like I got omens and numbers and just coincidences and synchronicities that tether you away, and you don't take the sign that you're not meant to do that because someone else is better than you and on that, and you stepping on their game makes you a saboteur on the astral realm. I'm talking about all the cosmological woo-woos, tarot cards and organizing, yoga, all of that. It doesn't mean all of yoga, but yoga is not really a profession. It's like a hobby or whatever, like a runner's club. You know, you get people who like AA meetings, and it's not about AA. It's about setting it up and doing something once a week or once every, you know, that's what like most of the cosmic stuff is. And then it gets dangerous because you're building like Ouija boards, and you're doing things that are straight up on the level of getting the attention of the shadow realm, wandering stars, because that's where this Gnostic thing is. You got things that have been going on with the circle and nine and the skull and bones and Hinduism, and you don't want to get anywhere near that. Nowhere near that. That's racism. That's nepotism, ageism, sexism on a diabolic level, which pales by comparison to racism. So that is nothing compared to nepotism, favorism. Because the biggest stimuli out there is this attention of sex and this other attention of vindicating the villain of worldviews. And that's the danger of organizing. Third Amendment, no organizing. You know, these things need to be brought up to speed of what they really mean in the context. Because even like the whole going after your guns and silencing people is like blatantly stewing you like a frog of, oh, we're going to take this away because it's just going to make things better because too many people and too many stupid people and too many inexperienced people. It's like, no. What happened to the curing, another cool rock, curing the APR? And credit is the most baloney, hanky-panky thing that is a primary thing before the Halliburtons, before Bill Gates, before the George Soroses, before all these other boogeymans that just blow up algorithms and people run and roll with it, when you can stay in the consistency of change. What's right. But guess what? since y'all fake, I'm the biggest changer in the mechanism of the cosmos. So if they ain't leading you to me, you know you're living a lie, and you got the Bible there to keep you right. Because it's as sound doctrine as it gets. Not that it's doctrine, it's salvation. Because if you are doubt or fearful, you can correct that through the scriptures, not by abiding what the doctrines and gospels are telling you what to do or say or be, but the practice reverence of gratitude and humility of subjugating the flesh to the spirit. So, if you still think you don't want to be a Christian or think that you is, and you ain't got this as your number one banner, as the inconsistency of the people you keep around you that recognize what God did for you and sacrificed for you, whether it was your forefathers that laid it in ink and stone, y'all crazy for not knowing this and having to have someone be that black sheep to be the one to experience it, know it, and to die for it. There ain't nothing worse than dying while you're living. Later.